Hi, I'm Mark Pack. I'm editor of Liberal Democrat Newswire, and like many other party members, completely bowled over by the fantastic wave of new members we've had coming in the last few days. At the time I'm recording this, it's nearly 10,000 new members that we've had, and I'm sure by the time you watch this, it will be even more than that. We're getting very close to that 100,000 membership mark, which we've never managed to reach before this century. So if you are one of those new members, thank you. It's fantastic that you've joined. And if you're a new member from the last few days, or maybe from after the referendum or after the general election, I guess this will be the first general election, most likely, in which you've been fighting the Liberal Democrat corner as a member of the party. So I thought I would do a few videos, starting with this one, explaining some of the things we get up to in a general election and why we fight elections the way we do, and what the reason is behind some of the things you might be asked to help with or you might be asked to do directly yourself. I'm going to start off in this video talking about targeting, because you may well have been receiving some messages either from colleagues or people in the party regionally or nationally urging you to go and help perhaps in fighting an election that isn't quite in the area that you live. It might be in a neighbouring village, a neighbouring town, a neighbouring borough. And the reason for that is all to do with the way elections work. When it comes to a general election, we use the first past the post voting system. And what that means is that getting a few extra votes in any seat anywhere in the country is great and really valuable. But getting those extra votes in a seat where it makes the difference between us winning or losing in that seat, so the extra 5 or 10 votes that means we just get an extra Liberal Democrat MP in one seat, is massively more valuable than extra 5 or 10 votes somewhere else. That means maybe rather than getting 10% of the vote, we ended up with 10.1% of the vote. If that tiny little margin is the difference between one Liberal Democrat MP in that seat or 0 Liberal Democrat MPs, that's an enormous difference. If it's a little bit extra on the vote total where we're way off winning, it's nice, but obviously it doesn't make quite as big a difference. Working out where are the seats that we have the best chances of winning, and therefore where it's most important to concentrate all of our voluntary effort as much as we possibly can, that's really difficult to do even in normal election time, and it can be a hard judgment to make. Even harder for everyone who's trying to make those calculations at the moment because of the snap election. A lot of the party polling and analysis of canvass data and so on that would have usually been happening in a fairly orderly fashion in the run-up to the election to help with that planning is obviously now having to suddenly happen at double quick speed in the last few days. So I think it'll probably take a little while before it exactly settles down to which seats all of us are being asked to go and help in most often, and it obviously makes sense to bear with the people who are working flat out to try and do those calculations as they try and crunch the numbers and look carefully over the evidence to get those judgments right. But when we are asked to go and help, and if it is particularly in a seat that we don't live in ourselves, but it's in a neighbouring seat or a nearby seat, really, really important to do that, because as I said, it's fantastic helping wherever you can, doing whatever you can for the party. But if it's that help that helps take us over the line to just win a seat that we would otherwise have just missed out on, then not only is that help fantastic, it's doubly fantastic. And that's why targeting is really important. Of course, that applies to the local elections as well. Slightly different situation in Scotland, where STV is used for the local elections, so targeting doesn't quite apply in the same way, but first past the post is being used in the council elections in England and Wales as well, and of course will be used across all 3 countries in the general election. So really hope you listen to any advice or encouragement that you get to help fit with the party's overall targeting strategy, and go and put in that extra bit of campaigning help where it can really make the most difference to get the most Liberal Democrats elected. Hope that's been useful. If you've got any thoughts for other subjects that you'd like to have me demystify or help explain, please pop up a comment and let me know. And likewise, if there's anything about targeting that maybe this video has left unclear, or perhaps even worse, has made less clear in your mind, likewise, please pop up a comment and I'll try and work through and answer as many of them as I can. Thank you very much for listening.